All right, I'm calling today's legislative body meeting on September 29th, 2025 to order at 3:15 p.m. Welcome everyone. First thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes of last week. So, if everyone, do we roll call first? Am I crazy? We roll call first. I'm sorry, that's me. All right. Vice President Balfe is here. Senator Biagini? Here. Senator Clemens?
Here.
Senator Cochran is excused. Senator Conley?
Here.
Graphic Designer Curdy?
Here.
Senator Cebulski? DEI Chair Dixon?
Here.
Senator Fazell?
Here.
Treasurer Fell?
Here.
Chief of Staff Geary?
Here.
Recording Secretary Hildebrand?
Here.
Senator Loris?
Here.
Comms Director Lucero? Senator Mahone? Senator Montgomery?
Here.
Senator Peliska?
Here.
President Rangel? Senator Roberts?
Here.
Senator Sharafi?
Here.
Senator Shepherd?
Here.
Parliamentarian Drake?
Here.
Okay, now we move to the approval of minutes. Sorry, I don't know where my head is. So these are the minutes from last week. Would anyone like to motion to approve? Senator Peliska, would anyone like to second? Senator Clemens? Next, we have the agenda for this week. So this week we are going to be having a guest speaker, Dr. Saletti, who will be joining us at some point during the meeting, and with her not being here for our first item of the agenda, we're going to be slotting her in either before or after the second open floor. So keep that in mind when you are going to approve these minutes. Then we have President Rangel speaking on a couple subjects, as well as me speaking on a couple subjects. And then we have no reports of standing committees. We have 4 items of new business today, and finally the President Pro Tem 4 election. Would anyone like to motion to approve the agenda for today? Senator Cebulski, would anyone like to second? Senator Peliska? Alrighty. With that, we are not welcoming a guest speaker, but we will hopefully later. But she is H.J. Heinz Company Endowed Chair in Business Management, Professor and Director of Marketing and Sales Program. I've had her as a professor, and she's pretty great. I can't wait for her to speak to you all today. But this is our first open floor. So does anyone have anything for our first open floor? Senator Mahone.
So in Slack, I've been noticing. So in Slack, I've been noticing that when people are having discussions, they're not responding to threads. They're like creating new threads with every message. So you can directly reply to like messages in the Slack, in the channels. And if you do that, it will create a thread so that it's easier to like go back and find older things because the channel's not flooded. And also, it will only give a notification when you reply to people who are in the discussion. So I think it would be cool if people started using that feature, but you know, no worries if not.
All right, anything else for our first open floor? All right, moving forward. We have the reports of the Executive Cabinet, so I'm going to pass this over to President Rangel.
Okay, so nice to see you back again today. We got I think 4 resolutions coming up. I have an upcoming meeting with Dr. Versalis, so that actually got rescheduled today. That's for Thursday, so if you have anything to ask of him or tell him, bring it to me. I got a meeting with him 11 a.m. Thursday. And we also have Dr. Saletti, as Megan said, and faculty committees. If you would like to join any faculty committees, please use the form in Slack. And yeah, that's about all I have for you today.
May I ask what the waterfront update was?
I was going to bring that up in the second floor, but yeah. So the waterfront stops, I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with the waterfront. If you take the 57 or the 53L or the 60s, whatever. Any buses you take at the waterfront, they announced that the bus stops are being removed from the waterfront's like sort of property. So if that's of interest to any of you, look into it. We might be fighting back on that, but yeah, that's not a great thing for especially our students who frequently use the bus to go to the waterfront. So yeah, I just wanted to throw an update on that.
All right, this week I had a meeting with Professor Stars, who is an innovation professor in the business school. He's actually how we got Dr. Sleddy to come in and hopefully speak for us today. The goal of that meeting was to bridge the Student Innovation Committee with the Student Innovation Center. So hopefully that is going to be paving the way for a partnership for the future where hopefully I would like to see the business school having more students come over here and want to innovate outside of the classroom, as well as having some more support from the innovation professors for our committee. So that's something to look forward to this year. Dr. Stars recommends that we talk with Dr. Saletti about making surveys for the students. So any surveys that you want to bring to the students, Dr. Saletti, that's one of her big things. I had her for a class last semester. She's fantastic, and she would love to help you all, I'm sure, especially with her coming and wanting to talk to us all today. She does want to be here, I promise. Senator training has been going well. If you have not been senator trained, please talk to me so that we can get that to you. With that, we've had a couple initiatives being brought forth, so we've got a couple new initiatives through that, and I'm hoping to see some of those reported on during senator reports. The President Pro Tempore election is today, so how that's going to work is the PPT candidates will leave the room and each be given 2 minutes on the floor to campaign. Following this, each senator will cast a ballot to be tallied and announced when the candidates return. So our PPT will then join us for the executive cabinet meeting immediately following, which is why we are announcing this in the meeting. And those are all the reports that I have today. And this is perfect for me to segue into Dr. Saletti. Dr. Saletti, are you ready for us to speak for us?
Sure.
Perfect. Come on up.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. I'm really excited to be here at your SGA meeting. And for those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Doreen Saletti. I'm a professor and program director for the Marketing and Sales program in the Rollins School of Business. I'm also assistant director of the Honors Program. And I am the newly elected president of Faculty Assembly. So one of the things we're really hoping to do is to focus on transparency, communication, and collaboration. And so to that regard, I've been in regular contact with Christian, and we have been talking about collaboration between faculty and students. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is the willingness of some of you to serve on faculty assembly committees. So we have several committee roles that have been filled by students, but we have more that are available. And I would like to encourage you to take advantage of that opportunity to share your perspective with faculty. It's one thing to connect with faculty in the classroom. In that case, it's usually very purposeful around subject matter, right? But it's another thing to be able to connect with faculty outside of the classroom, and for us as faculty to connect with you as students outside of the classroom, to really start to understand, what makes sense for you, and what kind of experience do you expect from Point Park University? Because we really want things to be Point Parkable. We want to make sure that we're not just offering you great course experiences, but also an overall great university experience. And part of that responsibility lies on you, to be able to talk with us, to bring your opinions and your perspectives to the table, to be willing to take the time to engage with things like faculty assembly committees so that we do understand what the issues are that are facing you and what the priorities are, the things you really care about, and how we can build that in to what we're doing as a faculty. Now, faculty assembly is a recommendation body. We don't necessarily make decisions, but we do provide recommendations to university administration, much as you do as SGA. So together we can work to make this an even more amazing university, but that does require all of our efforts. And so I do want to encourage you again to get involved. We're all busy, I know we all have a lot going on, to join a faculty assembly committee meeting. It's typically about an hour a month. There may be some additional time if you're doing a little research or wanting to provide a little more information, but it's not a heavy lift in terms of time commitment, and the impact is exponential. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to make sure I came to your meeting today. And if there is ever anything that I can do to assist you, if it's through faculty or through the work that we can do with SGA, please reach out to Christian, and he and I will continue to keep in touch. You're also welcome to reach out to me directly if there's anything that I can do personally for you or that I can do on behalf of Faculty Assembly, or if there are some things that you want to make sure we're talking about. Absolutely glad to do that. So I don't know if we have the time, but if anyone has any questions for me, is that okay, Christian, if we open it up for some questions? Okay. So any questions for me? Yeah? It's working.
Yes, it is. So has this program been around before, or is it the first time it's being implemented into the school?
Now, this is something in reviewing the bylaws of Faculty Assembly. There were allocations for membership, for student membership on some of our faculty committees, and I'm not sure that, I really don't know enough about the history to know if we were reaching out to you or there wasn't significant student interest, but when I became aware of that, I wanted to make sure that we were putting the opportunity out there. I think you have a comment?
Yeah, I think COVID is where, as we sort of all went online, I think that was one of the things that got lost during that time. So you all bringing it back is a wonderful thing. Yeah, for years, students sat on these committees. Some even having voting rights and all that, so they are very important.
Yeah, that would be great. So yes, so at this point, again, it kind of, I guess, fell off, but we absolutely want to do everything we can to proactively bring students back onto faculty assembly committees. And I hope that you're interested. Yes. I think you can leave it on because your neighbor has a question.
So I was going to say, I think this is essential because as students are living on campus, experiencing campus, I think a lot of what we talk about SGA reflects what you're speaking about. And so I think it's essential that students get involved because it directly involves us so deeply. So it's really nice hearing this, and I personally would be interested as well.
Fantastic, that's great. Yes, when you have an opportunity to use your voice, please do your best to take advantage of that. Thank you.
Kind of spinning off what she was saying, but this is more of a question, but how involved are the students allowed to be in this? Or is it like they're just as involved as the adults, or all adults, are they just as involved as the faculty, thank you for that, as the faculty, or is it just like, oh, we come in once a month and we just like give our opinion and we just leave? What is?
Well, I think for most of the committees, you would be as involved as you care to be. Now, on some committees, you are considered an ex officio member. That basically means you're a non-voting member, but you do have the opportunity to engage during meetings and bring information to that committee. In other committees, you are a full member in that you do have voting privileges as well. So, depending on the nature of the committee, they're all a bit different. Some of them are incredibly active and have slightly heavier workloads. I would say in particular the curriculum committees, the Unified Undergraduate Curriculum Committee and the Graduate Program Council, both typically have a number of curriculum revisions that they're reviewing regularly. And in those committees, I believe students are ex officio members. But I think it's really important for you to see what's happening from a curricular perspective and maybe bring again some of your own perspective as students to the table so that faculty engaging in this curriculum development work understand how you're seeing it as well. Sure. Yes.
I just wanted to know which committees need people to join them, and are there any additional qualifications that are needed, like a certain amount of credits or GPA, and also who would we talk to, how would we go about joining if we were interested?
Yeah, thanks, great questions. The curriculum committees do specify, I believe GPC, the Graduate Program Council, specifies Unified Undergraduate Curriculum Committee would be an undergraduate student. The others don't have specific requirements around your program or your year or anything of that nature. The list, I believe Christian has the full list with the descriptions of the committees that he can send around. And thus far, the GPC and UUCC, we use too many acronyms, right? Graduate Program Committee, Unified Undergraduate Curriculum Committee, we have had student volunteers for those committees. I don't believe we've had any student volunteers for any of the other committees. And there are committees around enrollment and student affairs, committees around diversity and inclusion, a committee, I'm trying to think what some of the other ones are. There's a committee around faculty excellence and academic affairs. So a number of different committees where you would have an opportunity to share your perspective and be involved. Any other questions? Well, again, please, if you are interested, you can reach out to me directly. I'll keep Christian in the loop if anybody does do that so that we can keep track of membership for these committees. And Christian, maybe you could send out the request again with all of the committee listings. And, excuse me, allergies. But if you have any interest in a particular committee, please let Christian know and then be in touch with me, and then I can connect you to the chair of that committee, and you can start engaging. Most committees, not all, most will meet on the third Monday of the month at 2:40. That's why we typically don't have classes between 2:40 and 4:10 for those faculty committees. Some do change their time based on other members' scheduling issues, but most committees, again, are meeting about once a month. All right, well, thank you very much, and I'll turn it back over to your student representatives.
Thank you so much for coming to speak to us. We appreciate it so much. So moving forward with our agenda, we have no committee reports this week, which is kind of crazy. I don't think we've ever had that before. So now we've got senator reports. If senators would please like to report what they've done this week. Starting with Senator Mahone.
We're going to be doing like a water bottle recall drive. I will be like messaging everybody on Slack about that to tell you what you can help with and how we can get this done.
Senator Clements.
Hi. So I recently went to salsa night. Everyone absolutely loved it. Everyone's a huge fan of salsa, which is really funny. I talked to a few kids about them. This isn't just like a salsa thing, but just like in general. It's more of them struggling to find out about these events because they didn't really find out about it until they went down to the dining hall and saw that they were set up and all these other things. So, sorry, I'm like formatting in my head. So if there's a way to like better advertise for events like salsa night or just like salsa night or like anything in the upcoming future that is like would be more student prone, that would be a lot more people like that is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm shutting up.
Marketing has been a very hard thing to do for a while now. Most organizations or events have Instagram posts and flyers that are put up by sale, as well as herd profiles. And I think, if anyone else can think of anything else, I think those are the three that come to my mind. And I don't think any of them necessarily seem to be effective, because Instagram, you have to already be following them, and so it's only being shown to people that would already know about the event. The herd, people don't check enough to see it, and flyers, like you're saying, people are missing. So, Senator Biagini, do you have anything to suggest?
I have one idea. What's a place that everybody is in every single day? The elevators. So maybe putting because I've seen flyers around campus, but I mean they are in bulletin boards sometimes, but usually people just walk past them and just skim them and they're like, whatever. So, but people are always in elevators and just looking at them. So,
Senator Zawolski.
I know that last year, one of our somewhat bigger initiatives was bulletin boards, and I never heard the end of that really, so I don't actually know what ended up happening.
Physical plant communication just never,
Great, yeah.
just
that's
stopped.
better.
Yeah.
Great.
We have tried to install new billboards on the Sky Branch, which, as I just said, communication with physical plant just somehow stopped, and so that didn't get pushed through. The elevator idea, part of me loves it, another part of me knows that they just renovated them, and I don't know how they would feel about changing that immediately. Senator Conley, I'm sorry, I saw your hand first.
This might just turn into like a whole bigger thing, but I know with COPA they send out newsletters. I check my email all the time. So if there was a way to, in my case, I'm not really sure, if it's like, we know we're gonna have these 6 events, send them out via email, because for the most part, everyone is checking them. And if you have the digitals already made for the flyers, you're going to have them so you could just post them already.
So you think more campus-wide email blasts about
I
events?
think so, yeah.
I know that we have the social scoop on Mondays, but not everything gets scooped into that. Sorry.
So funny.
It's just natural, sorry. Senator Paliska.
I was just gonna say on the topic of putting them in the elevators, I know in like Conestoga they're in the elevators, but they aren't there for long. People tend to like rip them down and just take them out. So I don't know how beneficial that would be by putting them in the elevators in Lawrence if people are just gonna rip them down.
So, Senator Lorries.
I was just like wondering, like, is there a way to like make like a master like Instagram and like TikTok account for like student events? Because I know that like individual clubs will post their own thing.
Could we pass down the mic too so you can say that again?
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like there should be like a master like Instagram and TikTok account that's like for student events, because like individual clubs will advertise their own stuff on their Instagram pages, but not everyone follows every single club that's on the campus. So like, I don't know if like the Point Park University Instagram like would post club things, but I think that there should be like something that'll just post all clubs events.
We could talk to Sale about utilizing their Instagram that way, potentially. Yeah? Yes? Did you have something to say? Parliamentary raise?
I was actually gonna say something.
This is gonna sound insane, unhinged, but hear me out. There is one social media platform that hasn't actually been mentioned that, from what I've heard from other students on this campus, is apparently utilized by a lot of the student body, and that would be Snapchat. I'm not sure how effective it would be for advertising anything, but like I know people use it and check it regularly.
Senator Mahone.
Just to that point, there are already like group, like class stories that like anybody from that class can like put stories onto. So I think it would probably be possible to have just like an events story on Snapchat. I don't know if it would be super effective or not, but it's definitely worth a try, I think.
I'll definitely talk to Sale about having posters on their Instagram and potentially like just getting all of those so that they can post in one area. Does anyone else have anything to report? Sorry, this is Senator reports, unless it's about the, sorry. No, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, DEI trainings.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to talk about that other thing. But I want to go back to the elevator thing, because I think a lot of the issue with clubs trying to communicate their events are just that the students aren't really listening to the way that they're communicating via Instagram, via Snapchat. People aren't very responsive to it. And I think that's just because we're all flawed human beings and we all have our priorities, and our priority isn't like honestly going to be checking the herd every week, to see what events are going on. So I do think that having them in a physical location where a lot of people pass through it pretty consistently is probably going to be like a very good idea for communicating the events, this stuff like that. I know over the summer I worked as an RA, and we had events every night, and it was awful. And I love my job. Please hire me again. But we had events every night, and we would post them everywhere in campus. They would be in the dance complex. They would be right next to each elevator shaft. We would just I don't want to say decorate, but decorate the walls with the posters and stuff like that. So maybe that's something that we could try to do if the university is pushing back on putting them actually inside of the physical elevators, getting them on elevator shafts in central locations like the second floor of Lawrence, or the elevator to the Playhouse that all the COPA students take, or the GRW elevator, just places like that.
Senator Conley?
This is back just on senator reports. There's been a lot of talk of finding a place to get different certifications from the COPA kids with yoga and Pilates. So I kind of did some research on places that are local enough, where it could be walking distance or even just a bus ride. And I mean, I didn't get far on it by all means, but just to see if we could start to kind of build a bond or a connection with these places that would give the kids an ability to get the certifications, because now everyone's 18 and they're allowed to. There's places over in Shadyside, but it's a pretty far bus ride for this stuff, and it is kind of a lengthy process. So that's just what I'm doing.
Senator Shepherd?
Hello? Okay. I just wanted to let everybody know, so every Monday with my work study, I usually have a meeting, and sometimes Dean Tanzilli joins us on the meetings. And on the meetings, I let him know about my concerns about security in Lawrence Hall. I told him about the doors sometimes breaking, or I scan and it doesn't even work. And also that there's no person on the desk, at all, ever at Lawrence Hall. And I also let him know about cafeteria, and I also let him know about, I believe it was a parliamentarian's idea about the meal swipes. I did tell him about having meal swipes at other places that are near here, like Chipotle and stuff. And he actually did really like the idea, so I don't know if he's gonna bring it up, but I really hope he does, because, I would love that.
Point of order, it is almost 4 o'clock, and we do have 4 proposals to go over, so I just ask everyone to keep that in mind.
So if anyone else who has a report would like to make their report quickly, you already made your report, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Senator Fazell.
I was just going to report, we just finished our first committee meeting, which was lovely, and we were really talking about how we can engage students in a cost-effective and unique way, for example, to go to town hall, to take polls and whatnot. And so we were discussing a lot of interesting, tying it to our Y2K kind of thing, maybe adding Just Dance afterwards, or, for example, doing caricatures that we can make caricatures of people after they take polls. But yeah, I just wanted to report some of that and just to get people's minds running to propose some of these interesting ideas. Thank you.
Senator Montgomery.
No.
I just wanted to follow up with what I talked about last meeting with the ROW and student theater. So I, along with Caleb, Jaden, and Bianca, set up a meeting with Keisha to talk about the ROW and student theater and the current performance spaces that are available to student theater to perform in. Just wanted to go over that.
Senator Roberts?
Just to update on my initiative about just trying to get a better opportunity for students to take professional headshots. I was in contact with Dean Jolin, which is the head of the Career Readiness Center, to try to see if we could come up with something to the effect of like a work study job for somebody to maybe be doing this more consistently, which I don't believe is going to be super realistic, but he also mentioned the Student Accounting Association having their event coming up in November, so I'm just working on finding out if that's actually something they're going to be doing there, and if not, setting up a different event for that and also advertising it.
Senator Fell has comments when we are able to do comments. They will. All right, moving forward. Old business. All right. First up, we got Resolution 0926, 2025 CBL. This is the resolution to amend the Constitution and bylaws to establish the executive cabinet position of Director Downtown Engagement. Would anyone like to motion to discuss? Senator Pelosi, would anyone like to second? Senator Mahone? Would you like to present your resolution?
Yeah, so the Director of Downtown Engagement is a really important position that I feel that we are lacking as a campus community within engagement within the downtown area. This is something that we can provide focus on. So these are a lot of stuff I would like to do myself, but of course that would spread me too thin and anyone here, so we are severely lacking in that ability to bring volunteer opportunities to the campus, outreach to downtown leaders, and address things like public safety downtown, advocate for better transit and whatnot. And I think establishing this position will help us progress toward those policies. Thank you.
Does anyone have anything they would like to discuss? Senator Fazell?
Sure, there we go. I think this is wonderful. As someone who works with a small business locally, I think to be able to engage students within their skill sets within this community also builds a portfolio and adds a level of experience that I think is essential to going out into the workforce, regardless of what you do. I've been able to learn so much through my position, and I think it just really creates engagement that I think would really benefit a lot of the SAAM or even, the animation or graphic designers or anybody in general, just to have that experience and even possibly a job, in this economy.
Any other comments? Senator Mahone?
I would also just like to speak in favor of this proposal. I think that seeing as one of the selling points of Point Park University is that downtown is our campus, it makes sense that we have someone whose designated job is to engage with the campus. Is it? Okay. How about, is this good? Okay. Oh, I didn't even, okay. Actually, that's all I wanted to say anyway. Vote yes on this. Thank you. I think I can do too.
Does anyone else have anything to say? All right. Oh, Senator Shepherd.
So we would vote on this like the PPT, right? Is that true or no?
We're voting on PPT later today.
Oh, so we're not voting on this as well?
No, so this one is specifically an appointed position. So this one would not be elected from the Senate, but rather appointed by the president.
Oh, okay. That's
Yes.
fine.
Yeah. Anyone else? All right, with that, I'm going to ask all those in favor of approving Resolution 0926, 2025 CBL, the resolution to amend the Constitution and bylaws to establish the executive cabinet position of Director of Downtown Engagement. It's unanimous, it passes. Moving forward, we have Resolution
You're allowed to keep your document. Resolution 0926-2025 to CPL. Resolution to amend the Constitution and bylaws to establish the executive cabinet position of the Student Concerns Coordinator. Would anyone like to motion to bring this to discussion? Senator Clements. Would anyone like to second? Senator Belusco. Mike. We discuss. My first thing is I would prefer this to be called the Student Innovation Coordinator rather than the Student Concerns Coordinator. That's my big thing. Anyone else? Sorry. Sorry.
So we could change it. I did make it a doc, so let's change it. Yeah. So this position is similar to the PPT. It will come out of the Senate. It will be voted on. It will allow for an additional senatorial leadership opportunity. It will establish a position to make their sole focus the student concerns and try to push that as best they can. It will chair the, well, after the other resolution, chair the SIG committee, as we said. And maybe not, if you like, name it the Student Innovation Coordinator as well. That's all.
Senator Fazal.
I think this is a brilliant position because a large aspect of SGA is hearing the concerns of its students and working to improve this university for said students and among ourselves. And so I think this is very nice because this could be a nice central head to kind of gather these concerns, and so it can help organize and help us within our committees kind of solidify what we need to do, what is most pressing based upon what the population decides. Thank you.
Senator Mahone.
Yes, so I am right now leaning towards being against this proposal for two main reasons, one of which I think that President Pro Tempore already does this, and that there's no real reason why we need to split the position in two. The other reason is just that being committed to expanding representation and institutional responsiveness to student needs is the job of every senator, and I feel like putting it on one person sort of diminishes the, I guess, incentive, for lack of a better word, for senators to be more proactive in their positions. So I think it would be better if we just kept President Pro Tempore as it is and not establish this position. Yeah, I don't think I have anything more to elaborate.
Senator Belusco.
I get wanting to open up more positions for exec cabinet members and stuff like that aspect, but also at the same time we also need senators and stuff, because the more exec cabinet member positions that we open up, the less senators that we have. And I also I think even with the extra stuff that this adds on to a person, you can still put that on towards the PPT because the PPT kind of already does it. So it just kind of feels like splitting a position in two when it doesn't need to be.
Senator Conley.
I'm going to actually speak in favor of this because for the most part, if you're worried about the separation of the senators and this position, it can almost be worked or amended in a way that if there's something that a senator, especially as a freshman talking about this, doesn't really know how to then bring forward the idea that a student has given them, they could bring it to their student concerns. So it can almost bridge the gap of the nervousness you feel about a topic that might be too out of your league for it. And for the most part, I feel like if you're getting a position as student co or president pro tempore, it might be your first time in a position of having that much responsibility. So splitting it between people just removes the ability of you being run too thin in a position and then maybe not wanting to come back into it the next year following.
Senator Sobolski.
I think that what you're describing is the PPT, and that it would be severely detrimental to, the integrity of the entire senator, positions, I guess.
So I can definitely see both points. I think, however, how many issues do we have on campus? How many concerns do we have? It's, there are so many. It is such a broad scope that I think it would be important to be able to have other designated people to work on this. There are so many different aspects that are happening at the same time that sometimes it can be overwhelming for just, the president pro tempore alone to do. I feel like it's something that could benefit from multiple people. However, I will say, I also understand that it gets rid of the dynamic that is already in place, a dynamic that we know that works, and it kind of will shift that order. And so I guess this is less of a statement of more of like a concern. It's really the question of, are we prepared for that change and to grow with that change and see if it, affects things positively? Or do we want to stick with what we know? Thank you.
Senator Mahone?
Yeah, I just want to say that, I agree with Alexis on that, there's a lot of issues and it's a lot for one person to, manage alone, but this doesn't really fix that. It just shifts the responsibility onto someone else while making PPT a largely ceremonial position that's just there to, be in the line of succession, right? Stop talking in my ear while I'm talking. It makes me lose my train of thought. Thank you. And again, I also do think that the senators should be doing this, right? This is the thing that senators should be doing. And also to Senator Conley's point, I don't necessarily think that someone who does not feel that they have the capacity to do this job should be running for President Pro Tempore in the first place. Because that really is President Pro Tempore's main responsibility, right? And it is up to the Student Innovation Committee as a whole to determine which of these issues are most important to the student body at any given time, and to come up with solutions and move forward towards them. I don't think that the issues that we've had in the past with this are necessarily because of the way that our rules or our executive cabinet is structured. I think it's more of a case of people not really having the proper guidance on how to fulfill the responsibilities that they've already signed up for. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Senator Clemens?
Kind of spinning off what he just said. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a very good idea. However, it does very much take away from the job of, for the first part, the senators. In the future, I feel like this by itself would end up making the senators lazier on their job, and then that would pile on with the PPT and yes, thank you. And then that would just make those people stressed out, and then we'd be in a situation where, the senators aren't really doing their job, and one or two people is doing everything the senators should be doing. So I think this borderline just takes away from the whole concept way of going on. And I'm all for change. I love new ideas, and I love pushing things on, but I don't think this is the change we currently need in SGA. Thank you, that's all.
Do any other senators have anything to discuss?
Let's just say a few last words. First of all, I'm glad we're having a discussion. It's great. I will note that both the PPT and the Student Concerns Coordinator will be still Senate positions, so they'll remain a voting member and hold all senatorial responsibilities. One of the reasons I initially went for this was to clear up the PPT's responsibility in heading the Senate and keeping them in check and essentially being the chief of staff of the Senate body. So just keep that in mind as we go around. Thank you.
Sam, did you have something to say?
So from a budgetary standpoint, we can't afford both these positions, but it should also be noted that we're only paying this position $250, which is less than the average. It could be, if we don't pass this, we could raise the stipend for another position that's only getting paid $250 to keep them in line with the average. I think that this position could be helpful if it's executed right. I also think it could be very unnecessary if we have a PPT who is proactive in maintaining, their job. So this shifts the role of the PPT. It would make it kind of more ceremonial, and it would reduce the salary or the stipend for some of the positions that we have, whereas we could be paying some other positions more.
Okay, these are the last two comments. Senator Zabolski.
So the money that this position would be getting would be coming from the PPT's salary, or is it just?
It would be an additional
Okay.
additional expense out of our overall budget.
Okay.
Whereas we could theoretically raise the PPT salary. It would be an additional expense coming from our overall budget, whereas theoretically we could raise the PPT salary from 250 to 500.
Okay.
And Senator Fazell.
I feel like something that would greatly benefit, I feel like this is something that needs a little bit more research done for it. I feel like possibly going forward, the President Pro Tem Board can keep track of all that they have to do, the responsibilities, what the senators are doing, what is happening, keeping a log of that. And if it becomes overwhelming or not as many of the goals that we set out are accomplished because there's so much workload and because there might be inactivity or trying to keep activity, I think it's just important to kind of gauge how much work does the President Pro Tem Board do? How much do the senators do? And is this something that we can reasonably do on our own, or is there a need for another position to ensure that, it gets done in a more efficient manner, in a realistic manner? And so really it's just a matter of, it seems like something that would be a fluid position depending on how much is going to happen semester to semester. And as was stated, I do agree that if goals are met and there really isn't a need for another position, I can definitely see why adding another position would not go well. But I also, again, there is so much to do, and it's hard, to keep track of everything, and it's hard to put that expectation on working students, on exec cab, on everybody. And so I think it's just a matter of really gauging on, how much work do we have, and do we really need another position to fulfill that? And I think that's something that would benefit from, taking notes on and observing and then coming back to this. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to prompt you, the senators, what do you move we do? The options are tabling or voting. Senator Mahone.
I would like to motion that we bring this proposal to a vote.
All right, anyone second? Senator Palizka. All those in favor of the resolution 09-26-2025 to CBL, resolution to amend the Constitution and bylaws to establish the executive cabinet position of the Student Concerns Coordinator. All those opposed? All those abstained? It does not pass. All right, moving on. We've got resolution 09-26-2025 through CBL. This is the resolution to amend the Constitution and bylaws to add wellness as an issue to advocate for into the DEI committee, effectively creating the Dewey Committee. Would anyone like to motion to discuss? Senator Palizka. Would anyone like to second? Senator Clemens. Does anyone have anything they would like to say?
Yeah, so, do you want me to read the whereas or no? I'll just give you a straight. So, we initially talked about establishing a wellness chair that seemed to be somewhat of an overreach. This is our way of remedying that. So we put wellness into the DEI because it closely intersects with their initiatives, and we were already calling it the Dewey Committee. So, yeah, that's pretty much.
Anyone got anything to say on this one? Senator Mahone?
Yes, so this, I have kind of a very similar issue with this that I did with the previous proposal, which is that if you look at the first whereas here, it says the Student Government Association of Point Park University is committed to promoting the well-being, diversity, equity, and inclusion of all students. Yeah, we're like the point of the student government is to promote wellness, right? Like I think it would be a little bit redundant to include that in DEI, and more to the point, I think it would sort of like lessen the purpose of DEI to include just general wellness within it. Right, like the purpose of DEI is to like give extra help and attention to issues that affect like students who are, for one reason or another, part of a marginalized group. And I think that including like wellness within it takes away from that. And normally that's like, normally I would feel like that's kind of a nitpicky thing to say, right? But I do feel that in the current political climate where these DEI programs are under attack, we should probably stand our ground and just keep it as is. But like, you know, I'm not super set on that. Like I can be swayed. These were my initial thoughts upon reading this.
Senator Cochran.
I wouldn't necessarily say that the point of the Student Government Association is to bring about wellness. I'd say it's to help bring about change that these students of Point Park University would like to see. I also believe that wellness is an important part of students' life on campus, and I believe that adding this would help to assist students that have problems with wellness or mental health or anything similar, just because it brings them some opportunity and helps them go about their life on campus the same way as anyone else would without dealing with these wellness issues. And I think adding it to DEI, to Dewey, would be a great way to do it without having any overreach.
Senator Biagini.
I just have a question. When we say the word wellness, are we talking about like physical health, mental health, or like all of the above in our students? Like what exactly do we mean?
Yeah, what I meant it for as mental health, physical well-being, like mold and such, and then environmental well-being as well. So, and I also forgot to mention before, a main thing for this was to establish a connection between SGA and the counseling center.
Senator Clemens.
Glad you said that, because I was on the fence after everything you just said, but now I was already heavily in favor of this because everything it stands for is just beautiful. Kind of swinging off what you just said. SGA we're more of helping students feel like they're advocated for, not that they have someone to talk to, which we are people that we can talk to, but that's not our whole thing. And I think this would be a very much huge step, especially for us in the future, of letting people know that we are very much, you can talk to us about borderline anything, like if something happened in your dorm, or like if something happened on campus and you don't feel comfortable telling anyone else. And I think this would help us accomplish them, because by no means is DEI perfect, and it is still being reworked, as was said during orientation for all the freshmen over there. And I think this would benefit us very greatly in the future, so I'm happy with it. Thank you.
Senator Conley.
I don't think adding wellness is a bad idea, but I think it kind of muddies the water of almost what we do in general. We aren't trained professionals by any means of other people's wellness, and if the health center and other places are, I think that this should just be something we don't really touch. Like if someone comes about like a very strong mental health problem, you could do your best to tell them where to go, but almost being like a middleman in the situation, even if it's not mental health, anything health related, can kind of just get lost in the waters there. And I think that it just adds almost a stressor to what we do if we add wellness into it.
Senator Fazell.
I feel like wellness can also entail accessibility. And that's why I think it's essential within this, because a lot of what we do is to make campus better for everyone. And I think people who are disabled, people who, kind of need a little bit of that push from the student government to make this campus more accessible, I think that should be included within this, because that is for the wellness of the students who needs change to campus so that they can be so that they can enjoy being a student even with, disabilities. Thank you.
Senator Cochran?
Responding to Senator Conley, I don't believe that the intention of adding wellness to DEI is to be a place for students to come to and talk about their mental health issues. And if I am incorrect, my apologies, but I believe that the intention is to create more resources and create better access to resources for students when they need that extra wellness. I don't think that we're trying to take the place of the Student Counseling Center, but I think the goal is to make it easier for students to access Student Counseling Center or access other mental health, physical health, or environmental resources that they can need.
Senator Mahan?
Yeah, so I would just as a sorry, I can't hear the echo when it's a great distance from my face, so I don't necessarily realize. Okay. So I do just want to make sure everyone is on the same page. DEI refers to race, gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, disability, age, culture, class, veteran status, or religion. So a lot of these things are already included under the umbrella term. But with that said, I do, if the purpose of this is just to tie us closer to the wellness center so that we can work more closely with them, that's something I'm in favor of, and I'm willing to withdraw my objection. If President Ringel, actually, would you mind explaining further what you meant by that?
So Cassie from the Counseling Center reached out to us, wanted to establish that sort of connection, and wanted to work with SGA on wellness initiatives. So that's where we are coming from, to establish that sort of UC-SGA connection.
The UCC has a standing committee that focuses on these topics, and there's representation from all different areas. One of that Cassie is trying to get is to have a permanent representation from student government.
So she heard about our idea for a wellness chair, so that's what she reached out to us to inquire about. Said that was sort of disbanded as an idea and moved it into more of a focus into DEI, where that can be found. So I figured someone, either Bianca as the chair or someone, a senator in DEI committee or DEI committee, could be an unofficial liaison with the UCC in that way.
All right, we have 40 minutes and we still have to do an election, so let's get this moving. What would we like to move to do? You'd like to motion to vote? Second? Senator Clemens? So, now that we've discussed, I'm going to ask the question. All those in favor of Resolution 0926-2025 3CBL, resolution to amend the Constitution and bylaws to add wellness as an issue to advocate for into the DEI committee, effectively creating the DEWI committee. All those opposed? All those abstained? It passes.
I would just like to add the last resolution we're supposed to vote on. I'm not sure if you were going to get there, but.
So for the sake of time, I'm going to say that the resolution, as Sienna was about to say, is no longer relevant, and yeah, it is no longer relevant, and we are going to not vote on it at all. So this is no longer on the agenda. With that, we are moving to new business, which is the PPT election. So I would first like to move to suspend the rule that candidates may not campaign on the floor in order to hear our candidates' platforms. Would anyone like to second? Senator Palizko. All right, if all PPT candidates would rise and leave the room with Chief of Staff Geary, please, at this time. If you're running, you should leave.
Zoe's taking me on. This is Zoe's fault.
It's definitely not always, well, you've been saying all day you're gonna run spontaneously. It's not very spontaneous, you're saying all day.
I don't think I'm gonna run, actually.
If Riley wins, then I speak up. The rules committee. I like Riley, I just.
Alright, so first we are going to hear from the candidates in alphabetical order. So we're going to start with, I believe, Senator Clemens will be the first one. And then once you have heard from all of the senators, you will come up individually and cast your ballot in the box. We will count the votes live and announce the winner at the end of this meeting. Alright? So I'm gonna have to text Chief of Staff Geary, so there might be a slight delay in between everything just because of that.
Good guys.
Come on up, I'll give you the mic.
Oh, you come?
Yep.
Wow, okay, all fancy and cool like. I'm so sorry. I have like a bunch of things that are just So sorry. Hi everyone, hi all the senators. Okay, first off, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to stand here and speak to you guys about why I want to be PPT. Okay. First of all, I just want to say I like to call myself a pusher, not because I enjoy being pushed around, but because I don't stop until I achieve something meaningful, or something that it can be looked back on in the future and be like, you know, they did that. They started something there. I know I'm only a freshman, but I've never let that stop me from aiming high, way higher or greater than anyone else. I genuinely do care about people, and I want to make sure everyone's voice is heard and validated. I consider myself an overachiever, someone who doesn't just settle for good enough, but strives to go further. Of course, I'm not perfect. I'll be the first to admit that. I sometimes take on too much at once. I'm very scatterbrained and all these other things, and I'm learning how to balance that. But I can also see that as a strength too, because it means I'll always go the extra mile to get things done, or even if it takes extra effort. At the end of the day, this isn't just about me holding the title. It's about providing to you that I'll show up, push forward, and keep working until we reach our goals together. That's why I believe in the best choice for PPT, and I'd be honored to have you vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Clemens. Next, if I'm remembering correctly, we should have Senator Fazell next.
My name is Alexis Fassell, and I am a senior animation major here at Point Park University. So a little fun fact about me, I was actually on executive cabinet before. My sophomore year, I was the executive graphic designer. So I actually do have experience on what it's like to be a part of the executive cabinet. And I got to see firsthand kind of how it runs, how we interact with our senators. I have experience on that. But it is also with said experience, I was able to view in aftersight my shortcomings, ways I can be better, ways I can improve and engage with my university and fellow students. And so through that experience, I wanted to kind of put myself out there, do something different. And so my junior year of high school, I took a step back and I joined a local business. I was the first employee of a small business, and I got to learn how that business ran, how to run it independently. And now that we have new people coming in, I've learned how to communicate with other people and how to train them and kind of things that need to be focused on within a business, within employees, as someone who now has experience in leadership. And so going forth, I wanted to do SGA because it really had something deep to my heart, like special to my heart. You know, the importance of the people, the importance of you, the importance of the executive cabinet and within our pursuit to make this campus better. And that is something I truly want to do. And the more I dip my toes into the water, I realize I truly am passionate about SGA, about us, about each other. And I will always do my best to achieve that. And it would be truly a pleasure to become President Pro Tempore so that I can make your voices heard, everybody's voices heard within a realistic way. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pizzell. I'm trying to remember the alphabet. All right, next we've got Senator Mahone.
Yes.
Hey everyone, I'm Riley, I'm a junior. I've been in the Senate of the student government since like the first day of my freshman year. I'm really passionate about sustainability initiatives on campus. I would really like us to do more of that as a student organization body. We're doing the water bottle recall drive right now, as I mentioned, and again, I will send people more information about that if you want to get involved in it. But also I just feel that as senators, as representatives of the students at Point Park University, we have a lot of power to do a lot of really cool things and put pressure on people who may at times need pressure put on them. I think that this is the most powerful tool that we have to organize for the students' interests, and I think that we should play hardball with it when we have to. That's all I really gotta say. I don't know how much time I have left, but that's my pitch.
And finally, we'll be hearing from Senator Peliska in a brief moment.
Yes, Coney Bray.
Hello world. So I'm running for PPT, as obvious. I don't know what to really say because personally I don't know what I will do starting the position because there's so many different opportunities and I really want to hear from the senators and see what you guys want me to work on or want me to do. And I personally think I'd be very good for the position just because I am in other positions of power in different clubs on this school and I have a lot of responsibilities and I know what it's like to have responsibilities and have to make sure they are done and I will make sure everything is done efficiently and effectively and I just want to be able to be your guys' voice with the exec cabinet members. That's all I have to say. Oh, and I'll make the school pretty.
All right, now that we've heard all of the candidates speak, I'm going to start with Senator Cebulski on my left. If you want to come up and cast your vote, please. Sorry, this part's just gonna kind of be blah for a little bit.
Shit, I forgot I was voting.
I'm so sorry. In my head, that's a compliment, just so you know.
So just so the candidates know what's happening is we're going around the room and we're all coming up to cast votes. So Senator Mahone will be casting his vote next.
Will I really?
Yes, you
We're
will.
allowed to vote for ourselves?
Sure.
You are definitely allowed.
Even the President of the United States can vote for himself.
Yeah. Yes. That's the one vote.
Raise your hand if you would like to be excused quicker rather than later. All right, you may all go next. Sorry, guys.
Oh, thank you. We don't get to
Oh, no, I'm in no rush. It's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself.
This is in fact one of the longest meetings we've ever had, so that I can remember in my lifetime. So I understand if you are all wanting to stretch, stand up, start packing, like please.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I've kept you
I
this
got
long.
my
Thank you for being here.
I'm already here.
Senator Mahone.
If this election ends up being close, I would just like to remind everybody for the record that I did propose that we do automatic runoff.
Yo, who is this guy?
Okay, but there's no look at her.
That's okay.
Like,
Should be voting.
everybody's here.
I knew I should have voted before I voted for that.
Oh,
Screaming.
you should have more like cameras. I
Yeah, I
got so many votes.
That's
That's so exciting. Sure, it was a cat, yeah. Sure, it was a cat.
If you're heading out early, thank you so much for being here.
What are you? Oh, I thought you were doing the splits. I see barely anything.
I mean, like, either way.
Either way.
God forbid I exist, you know?
No.
God
Don't say that.
forbid.
Consequently, I exist outside.
I'm last, apparently.
That was all right.
No.
I'm not sure what I'm voting for.
He just said you were. Wait, who's that?
Senator Peliska is next.
Oh!
Because I just said so.
Do we write last name or first name?
However you wanna vote, you are free to vote to America, baby.
I didn't even hear that.
Crazy ears.
Sorry, I had to take a little bit of time. It's fine, I make sure to look at the room 3 times beforehand. I might have spelled your name wrong. No, it's wrong. Oh! Vote for me after you.
I was waiting for a great clap. The first time I heard Racers talk, like, last year, it was great. It was
Following Senator Fazell casting their vote, does anyone else have any? And has anyone else not gone yet? I guess is what I'm asking. No?
Everyone voted.
Everyone's
Yeah, we
voted.
all
Fine.
did. No, you're copying me. Oh, are we standing?
I'm standing because I'm tired of sitting.
Okay, but if all the other people are standing, I might as well stand.
I'm gonna stand because I wasn't.
Yes, stand with me. Stand with me.
be tallying the votes.
You know what?
You need a drum roll on here.
Yeah, that's really funny though.
Actually, go to
Yeah, someone one vote gets drunk.
Madigan, I voted for you.
Oh, thank you. And when Madigan Fang doesn't show up, we know who's lying.
Yeah.
I actually voted for Dr. Versailles.
Oh.
Is that okay?
All right, with that, congratulations, President Pro Tempore Clemens.
I'll do my best. Feel free to yell at me if I'm doing something wrong.
Okay, does anyone have anything for our second open floor? Does anyone have anything to announce? All right, our next meeting will be next Monday, October 6th, 3:15, right here. So, all right, I'll see you next week. Meeting is